We have been dedicated to talking about attachment style. So let me start off, this is for my own thing. I need this for myself, okay? Yeah? Anxious attachment, we're talking about childhood. Anxious attachment, we're talking about childhood, okay? Look, first and foremost, I want you to understand that when it comes to attachment styles, this is a thing that was born out of an experiment by John Bowlby, who's a British psychologist who spoke about separation anxiety, okay? He monitored young children and how they actually behaved when it came to them and their parents, okay? So he watched how the child would act when the parent would leave the child, okay? And what he discovered were there were 4 attachment styles, or at least 3 at the time, and then another woman came on and added a 4th. There was secure, there was anxious, preoccupied, and there was dismissive, avoidant at the time. And then Mary Ainsworth came after and committed a 4th one, which is now what we call dysfunctional, disorganized, fearful, avoidant. But today we are talking about anxious attachment. Okay? First and foremost, I need you to understand something. What is anxious attachment? Well, anxiously attached simply means children with an anxious attachment style typically exhibit behaviors that reflect a deep need for closeness and reassurance, okay? Along with a fear of abandonment or rejection. The attachment style often develops when a child experiences inconsistent and unpredictable responses from the primary caregiver, okay? And sometimes the caregiver is attentive and nurturing, while other times they may be distant, neglectful, or unavailable. As a result, children with an anxious attachment style may develop insecurity in relationships, okay? Insecurity in relationships. So we need to start from the very beginning, okay? We need to understand, how are these people born? Because in order to solve the issue when it comes to you either dating an anxious person, maybe you are the anxious person, we need to understand your origin. Once we understand your origin, we can begin to take the axe and start hitting at the root. Because in order to heal you, we need to go back to the very beginning of where it started. The beginning. Okay? And when I coach clients and when I coach people on attachment styles, what I'm getting them to understand is there is a link between your past and your present. You did not just become your present today. You became your present yesterday. Your yesterday is determining your today. And so what you experienced in your childhood is what's happening right now. Okay? So let's talk about this. Where are they born? So let me write this down so you can get this, okay? Okay, where are they born? Or how are they, should I say, why are they born? Yeah, why are they born? Okay, you know me, today I got annotations. I got paper and that, you get me? Man's got annotations and that, you get me? All right, the first question we'll ask is, why are they born? Why are anxious people born? Okay, so anxious people are not necessarily born, but they are made. Okay, because nobody's born any particular attachment style. They are made. Why are they made? Let's talk about first and foremost the caretaker. First and foremost, let me write this caretaker. Okay, all right, the caretaker. All right, so the caretaker right here, the caretaker. All right, the caretaker. Wait, here we go. Hey, blood, caretaker, blood. The caretaker. Okay, fantastic. So the caretaker. Right? The caretaker is the parent. It is the person who's looking after the person, the guardian, whoever, right? And what happens is the guardian themselves, okay, are unable to keep a consistent behavior towards the child. They are unpredictable and inconsistent. Why? Let's say one of these things. They are emotionally available at times, but emotionally distant. So a lot of parents go through this, right? Especially those parents who are going through a survival mode. Maybe you come from another country. Maybe your parents are working too hard. Maybe you're a single parent. Maybe you've got maybe your mom and dad are having relationship issues, whatever it is. There is something happening in the home that makes the caregiver or the parent or the guardian, makes them inconsistent and makes them unpredictable. And so one of the ways this happens is they are emotionally available at times, but emotionally distracted. So if you ever had a child be like, come up to the parent, and some days the parent is like, oh my God, love you, come on, let me give you a hug. Are you okay? What's going on? And then some days your mom was a tyrant or your dad was a tyrant, right? So you get this inconsistent behavior where at one point the mom is very much, I say tyrant's the wrong word, but one minute the mom or the dad is very, very loving, very caring, very attentive. The next minute they're like, oh, please just, not now, Susie, I'm busy. Can't you see I'm busy? right? So you're not necessarily scared of your parent, but you realize there is an inconsistency. You can't always go to your parent because they are inconsistent. Okay? All right? So another thing is this, that they can be highly responsive. The caregiver can be highly responsive. Number two, they can be highly responsive, but cold and withdrawn and punitive when they are stressed. So if you had a parent, for instance, single parents, there's a lot of them, okay? A lot of single parents, the mom especially is maybe looking after the child. They're stressed, they're overworked, they're overburdened. They have too many things going on, and they got their children with them. And now they got to not only provide financially, but they got to give themselves emotionally to that child. And at points, they're feeling good. There's some days where the parent is feeling amazing, feeling wonderful, feeling great. And there were other days where the parent's like, I just don't have anything to give. And it's too much, it's too overwhelming, and they're just like, I just can't do this. And the child senses that and feels it and realizes that the parent is no longer approachable. The parent is no longer at this moment loving or caring in the way that they need. Okay, all right? And so that withdrawn response versus them being highly responsive creates the unpredictability. Okay, all right? And the third one is that the caregiver puts what we call conditional love on the child. So if you were loved because you were great at sports, maybe you were loved because you were great at academics. Maybe you were loved because you were good at violin. Maybe you were loved because you were good at, good at, drawing, whatever it was. You were good at something and your parents praised you, but only because you did that. Okay? Only because you did that. So only because a parent decided that this was good for them, that they gave you attention. And when you were, quote unquote, bad, you weren't given any attention, you were punished. Right? So what happens is, of course, children should be disciplined. But what needs to happen is what we call a repair. Now, what a lot of parents don't do is the repair. What they do is the punishing without the repair. What does a repair look like? Well, a repair looks like, let me write this down because I want to make sure this is also my notes for you guys, okay? Because this is really important. If you're a parent, if you are a brother or a sibling, this is also important. If you're in a relationship, this is very important. The word repair is actually crucial because some of you will be given discipline to your children and they're not repairing what happened. You can't give discipline without a repair, okay? Can't tell them to go on a naughty step and then don't give them a repair, okay? The word repair. Okay, this is very important. What is a repair? The repair is exactly what the name says. It is to repair the relationship. Let me give you an example. If the child has been naughty and bad and you put that child on a naughty step, great, you've done well. That's amazing. Now what you need to do is then invite that child after the child has done its time and crime, and it's done its time for the crime, okay? You're meant to invite that child and repair the relationship. Show that child that you are not at odds, or there is no animosity left between you and that child. Once they've done their time for the crime, you invite them back into relationship. Hey, how are you okay? What's going on with you? Do you understand why I put you on a naughty step? Do you understand why you had to be that time out? Okay, what do you want for dinner? I've got you. Don't you worry about that. I love you and I still care about you. But we have to also be disciplined. The conversation after, they're letting them know that, listen, you have not changed your position. A lot of parents don't do that. A lot of parents have not done that. What they do is they punish and then they don't repair. Right? And so the child is left with this conditional love the parent is giving. That's how it feels like. Okay? Right? Yes, the reassurance is needed after. And a lot of children don't get that. Okay? Because a lot of parents don't realize they have to do that. Why? Because they never had it themselves. Their own parents never repaired the relationship. You just got on with it. Okay? Now, while that might have worked for somebody in survival, we're trying to thrive. We're trying to be the best that we can be. We're trying to be better than our forefathers and our generations before us. So, in order to do so, we need to learn better ways of handling relationships. The repair is important. Not only is it important for your children, it's also important for your relationship. Let me give you an example. For instance, maybe you are dating somebody, right? And you guys had an argument. Now, the repair would be you guys coming back together, having a conversation about what went wrong, and then saying, listen, I still love you and I still care about you. Reassuring each other that we're still in this to win this, right? Maybe your repair could be you go and bake a cake and you say you're sorry. I baked this cake because I appreciate you and I love you and I want you to know I'm still in this to win this. Right? That reassurance and repairing the relationship by doing something to build the bridge back up again is quintessential for healthy relationships. A lot of people don't like to do it because they want to fall back into a routine. Like, okay, it happened. Let's just get back to normal. There is no getting back to normal. We've just done something that's broken the connection. So we need to rebuild that connection by letting each other know what do we need in order to feel reassured in this moment. Right? So you have to understand the repair is essential for you to grow. It's essential for a healthy relationship, and it is essential for you to maintain the relationship. Okay, all right. It lets the other person know that you're not allowing the relationship just to drift. You are willing to make sure that they are safe emotionally. Okay, all right. So after a breakup with a partner, don't be afraid to have a conversation. Don't be afraid to say, hey, look, you know what? Like, what just happened? You know, I have moved past it, but I want to make sure that you're okay. Are you good? We're good. Okay, fantastic. We move forward, right? Or if you're not okay, let's discuss it. What do you need in order to feel better, right? It's also very, very important in order to have healthy relationships as well. So going back on to what we said about the caregiver, it's important that caregivers learn how to repair after they've punished, okay? So 3 reasons I said again, I'll summarize it again. Number 1 is emotional available parents sometimes and emotionally distracted parents sometimes cause anxious children to be born. Number 2 is parents or